You're in your 40s and your life has become a routine, same thing week after week. It's not that you don't like your job. It's an okay job. You're good at your job. It's just that it's starting to feel like it's a place that you go to sell your finite amount of time you have in exchange for some money to pay your bills and feed your family until the end of your time on this planet. And you want to change that. You want some adventure. You want some meaning in your life. You want to feel proud of what you do. And so for that reason, you decide to apply to become a Mountie. There's so many hoops to jump through and tests and assessments. Oh man. And what about your family? Your spouse is on board, but you've got an older brother that's telling you about his buddy's 20-year-old kid who tried to go through and he didn't make it. So how are you supposed to make it? There's no way. Stay the course and be happy with what you're doing. Well, you've decided to ignore the naysayers. You're not going to look at all these hoops to jump through and tests. You're going to just take it one day at a time. It's not like you have to quit your job or anything. Actually, nobody even has to know what you're doing. You can just keep doing what you're doing and do this process at the same time. And if it doesn't work out, you still got your job, you're still working. So there's no risk. You're not putting your life in danger to do it. There's zero cost and zero risk at doing this. So you're going to do it. So here's the steps involved. Step one is filling out an online application. You fill that out, and within a few days, you'll get a response back with an invitation to complete the online entrance assessment, the OEA. This is the test that has replaced the RPAT, the regular members aptitude test that you used to have to go somewhere and write it. This is an online test. It's 55 to 70 minutes, they say, and you do it in the comfort of your own home. So you complete that test and you'll get results back within, they say, 24 hours. I'll leave a link to a sample test. The RCMP have a sample test on their site, and you can go through that and see what kind of questions, so you know what to expect when you go to do it. From the sample questions, it didn't look too bad. Step 3 is document submission and screening. So once you pass the OEA, the RCMP will assign a recruiting analyst to your file, and there you go, you're on your way. After that, step 4 is the suitability interview. You'll do an interview with the RCMP, and they'll want to look at your, it's an interview to see your compatibility with the RCMP. They'll look at your values and integrities and see if everything aligns with the RCMP. Simple as that. Step 5 is the medical and psychological testing. So step 6 is the field investigation and security clearance part. And this is probably the longest step in the whole thing. They'll assign a background investigator, and he'll do a deep dive into the last 10 years of your life, look at your finances, look at your, do a criminal record check, go through everything. And this is the stage that, if they're going to do a polygraph test, it's going to be in this stage. It used to be mandatory, didn't matter, everyone got polygraphs, but now it's a discretionary thing. Step 7 is the final review, and then the offering you enrollment into depot, and then heading off to depot. So those are the main steps. If you go to their site, they list, I think they break it down into 9 steps now, and I'm going to provide a link to that so you can go through and look at these various steps in much more detail and see exactly what's involved. Here's what I really wanted to get into with this video. It's how to prepare yourself for going to depot. So there's 4 things that I think are important, that I found important in our experience when my wife and I went through. And the first thing is the documentation. So there's a lot, as you see, one of the steps is documentation and submission. So they're going to be looking for driving records, high school diplomas, uh, hearing test results, vision test results, a lot of documents to gather, but you have time to do it. But they can catch up to you if you don't look into it and start early. So if you go onto their site and look at the various steps involved and what documentation is going to be required, you can get a jump on that and get ahead of that, because sometimes these things can take a little while to get, like a driving record or something like that, and you don't want to be hung up in the process because you're waiting for a document. So get that going early and get it organized, and then you can focus on all the other stuff and not have to worry about what paperwork you haven't finished yet, or at least what paperwork you have to wait for someone else on. If you can get that going right away, then that will be a major benefit to you. The next thing I would say is very important is your finances. So you've got to look at what's going to happen here. If you're going to depot, are both of you going like we did, or is it just one of you going? So is there going to be an income coming in still while the other one's at depot? If not, do you have enough money to survive 6 months of depot? Now, keep in mind, depot does pay you. They're paying right now, currently they're paying $1,000 a week for the 26 weeks that you're there. After taxes, that works out to about $700. So can you get by on $700 if that's the only income you're going to have while you're there? Keep in mind, with the cost of groceries these days, that depot is free, all you can eat all the time. You might not like what they're serving, but some some people complain about the food. I tell you, once I saw the free ice cream machine, I was sold. Like, how can you complain? Anyway, keep that in mind. Free food, that knocks a big cost these days off your monthly bills. But your finances, you have to look at whether if you do go to depot and you graduate, are you going to keep your house, or are you going to sell your house? Is someone else going to be staying there? Do you want to rent it? What are you going to do with your cars? Are you going to, when you move, drive them out there or have them brought out? Or there's a lot of things to look at financially. And if the money that you're going to get at depot is the only money you're getting and it's not going to be enough, well, you've got about a year to save up some extra. So now is the time to work out that part of your financing and make sure that you're good to go when the call comes and you're on your way. Third is family. So do you have kids? Are the kids going to move with you to your new place somewhere else in Canada? Or are they old enough that they're going to be on their own? Maybe they're in college or university or already working, or they already have their own place. Is there an elderly family member, a parent that you're currently taking care of, that needs somebody daily to take care of them? And if you're not going to be there, is there someone else that can do that? Something to consider. So those are things with family. And who's going to take the dog? Is the dog moving with you? Yeah, pets. It can become a big deal. Anyway, what about the dog? Keep that in mind. The last thing, the most important thing, is fitness. What do you got to do to get in shape? What kind of shape are you in? And how are you going to prepare? As far as fitness, you don't have to run the pair anymore before you go to depot. They've done away with that. They have a different physical ability test at depot that replaces the pair now. and it's got some new features to it. They tried to make it a little more realistic to the job, to foot pursuits and things like that. So no pair before you go there, but you do have to make a declaration of your fitness. Basically, you have to be able to declare that you are doing 20 to 30 minutes of cardio sessions at least 3 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week. By the time you're ready to go, you don't have to start that way, but that's where you have to be at before you go to depot. You have to be able to run 5K in under 30 minutes. The standard benchmark is between 23 and 26 minutes. The maximum time is 30 minutes. You got to get under that time. You got to run a 500-meter sprint now. They call it a sprint, but I don't know if you remember in high school or track and field, a 400-meter dash was one complete circle around the track. So 500 meters, half a kilometer. It's not really a sprint, but the idea is to emulate a foot pursuit. So you have to run that in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And doing a little bit of research, apparently they say a casual runner should be able to do that distance in 1.5 to 2 minutes. So it's not outrageous, but again, you've got lots of time to work up to that level. They expect you to run between 10 and 20 kilometers a week. So if you're to run 5 kilometers 3 times a week, that's 15 kilometers. That's also 3 cardio sessions. So you'd kind of be covering both things off. And the sessions have to be between 20 and 30 minutes. So you're right in that window. So that's what I would do, because running is the most important thing to focus on. It's a big deal there. You're going to do a lot of running. And if you can get your endurance up to be able to run, it covers off a lot of the other stuff too. So like I said in the first video, when I started, I could barely run half a kilometer before my back was giving out. And by the time I got there, I was at the 23-minute point for the 5K, and I wasn't having back issues anymore. So as far as the weight training, right now, the only thing that they're specifying is push-ups. You need to be able to do 25 to 40 push-ups at one time is the standard. When I went, there was a few other things like pull-ups. I would recommend that you, besides the push-ups, you do sit-ups, crunches, pull-ups, and planks. They're big on planks. Like if you're in drill and somebody screws up, they make you do planks. So those are just, I know when you get to, there's pull-up bars all over the place at depot, or at least there was, and I can guarantee you're going to be doing sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, planks, and a few other things. So get ahead of it, put that stuff into your routine, and you'll be better for it. You don't want to get there and be the slowest person in your troop, because it's a psychological thing for one thing. If you're the slowest, because the troop is a team, and the team moves at the pace of the slowest person in that troop. So if you're holding up your troop, that will weigh on you like you won't believe. When I was there, I saw that lead to people drop out. It's stressful. You've got 31 other people looking at you as the problem, and even if they're not, you feel that way. So if you can get ahead of that stuff and then eliminate the possibility of that stress when you're there, then you can focus on all the other things you have to do there, all the studying of the criminal code, learning to use the firearms. That can be really stressful for some people. So you want to be able to focus on that. The driving, even. I mean, I had been driving since I was 16 years old. When I went there, it was actually a lot of fun, I gotta admit. But there are stressful parts of it, and the testing can get a little hairy. But you want to be able to focus your attention on those things. Defense tactics. You're going to be learning all sorts of ground fighting and sparring and things like that. and handcuffing techniques and all these things. You don't want to be worried about your physical abilities when you get there. You want to make sure that you can just do these things. You might be exhausted by the end of the day, but you want to make sure that you have the endurance so that you're not struggling, because if you are struggling, it's probably going to lead to an injury, and you don't want that. As far as the running, I know a lot of people hate running, but you can make it. It doesn't have to be a boring run. Like I said in the previous video, my wife and I set up our own paracourse in the backyard. Even though you don't have to run that anymore, it's kind of fun. And for us, running it, you're setting up obstacles. You gotta jump over a horse up and down some stairs, jump over a 6 foot mat, or I put a couple sticks on the ground, whatever. And then the push pull, I had a pail hooked to a pulley on the back of our deck, and you'd pull it. You couldn't really push it, but it gave you at least part of it. And we had fun doing it. Our kids would run it. It was hilarious because our older son, you got to do 6 laps of it. That's how the pair went. You had to go through it 6 times, and you had to complete it in under 4 minutes. So if you did like 25 seconds a lap kind of thing, you were good. But our son went through it like Sonic the Hedgehog. He blasted through the thing, and we're like, holy cow, look at it. Like, this is what a 20-year-old does. He did 2 laps of it, and then he just fell on his face. He was just gassed. And so that's kind of the funny part of it, the idea of it. You have to pace yourself. And uh, yeah, it was fun to do. In the wintertime, I I took a snow shovel out into the field in front of our house, and I shoveled an obstacle course. I made hurdles and stuff to go around. We ran through that, and we timed it. It didn't really line up to anything, but it was exercise, and it was running, and it was a cardio event, and it was fun. We did a lot of stuff like that, and that you just got to use your imagination. Same with the weight training. I got hold of an old set of weights, like rusted and crappy, and there's only a few plates for it, and it was a makeshift bench for bench pressing. It worked, but I was lifting rocks out in the we lived on a beach. I was picking up rocks and lifting those. I was carrying buckets of water and lifting them, like deadlifting. You just got to use your imagination. Neither one of us ever went to a gym before going to depot. We did everything at home, cheap, on our own, and it was more fun, and that's what I think made it worthwhile. And then you've just got, every time you do one of the steps, you're waiting for a call or an email to let you know that, and congratulations, you've made it on to the next step. It was so exciting. And so even if you don't, like, when you get to step 7, the final review and offer, when they offer you to go to depot, you can say, nah, I don't want to go. I changed my mind. At that point, you've shed some weight. You've got your health back. I'm telling you, you go through this for a year, and the transformation, you'll feel like you've gone back 20 years in age. You come alive again. I'm 62 now, and I'm still in that mode. Even though I retired 5 years ago now, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I'm not the person I was before I went. Now, I'll tell you one thing: in your 40s, it's an abbreviated career. Mine, I planned on going longer. Eventually, I'll get into reasons why I didn't go longer. But because you've had so much life experience prior to it, and then you're not in it for 25, 35 years like some people. Once you get back out of it, you kind of resort back to what I call a normal human being. You you can readjust to society, because it does affect you. It changes you, and for a period of time, it's not a bad thing. It's, I mean, everyone should see it. Everyone should pull the rug up and see what's underneath in our country and see what really goes on, because you don't get any of it in the news. You don't get it from the CBC. You don't get it from TV shows. It's not like that. I'll leave it there. Leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see. I'm working on this stuff. I'm trying to put it together in a way that helps people if they're thinking about doing this. I'm not trying to encourage anyone that you should do this, but if it's something you want to do, you should definitely look into it. If it's something that's crossed your mind, don't rule it out. Have a good close look at it. And if it turns out not to be what you want, it's not what you want. Next video, I'll try to have another video out in a week. I'll try to keep these going a week to week till I've got everything covered. And then if there's any questions or comments that lead to doing another video, I'll do that. So let me know. I'll talk to you soon.